많이 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 모닝 LPI.
It's time for the final match of the evening. It is going to be between Effort and Light. It's going to be the ZVT. And if Effort wins this match, he will secure his spot in playoffs. So this is an important one for him. And for Light, who's been on a tear, he had a rough start. He's won 2 in a row now. Let's see if he can make it 3.
Okay, well, he's been going for a lot of rushes, but these are not just like if we could call Efforts, or not Effort, but wait a second, it was Light. Yeah, I don't know, Light, if we can call those wins, I'm like, okay, well, yes, you are very good at cheesing your way to victory 2 weeks in a row. But I don't know if the week 3 is really going to be the charm, Wolf, because eventually people are going to figure out, hey, let me just not make myself vulnerable early.
And maybe he plays a macro game here. Maybe he plays a long game of wins, and we just have to, take that Astros win. But like, oh no, he just seems to really improve. But so far, he's been very risky at everything he's done, including his very first match where he lost to Rain. He just went for CC first on a map that's a little bit risky in a risky position, and feels like he's really willing to just put all the chips on the table and see where the roulette lands every time. We'll see what happens this time, as here he is. Big smile on his face, winning over Sock and Free back-to-back. With the crush of the Nexus first last week, and then against Sock, he just went for the really aggressive play with the double factory.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of pressure here. He's not only trying to keep himself alive, but also with Hero's win earlier, he has to at least keep up with Hero to continue climbing up in the standings, and he is facing off against one of, if not the hardest opponent SSL has to offer in Effort.
Now, Effort having that unfortunate loss to Hero early on. Looks like every fan in the studio is here to watch him tonight. Had that loss in the ZVZ, just went for a really greedy opening. And Hero tried to, just punish him for it. It worked out, got lucky, and then after that beat Sock, Free, Soki, and Raid back-to-back in mostly completely macro games. May look to be more aggressive as you go into Jade. Again, we saw how aggressive the Hydra bust can be against a Protoss on this map, but against Terran, it's very, very dangerous as well. And Effort has shown some of the best Hydra busts, him and Jadong, in post-Kesper Broodor era, so definitely a possibility.
Well, here we go, guys. It's going to be our last matchup of the night. Effort versus Light. Here we go, flying our way once again back on to Neo Jade for our final map of the night. Our yellow Terran player in the bottom left-hand corner. He is a Light.
And his opponent to the top right, of course, is Effort. So we spawn cross spawns, so leaning towards a longer TVZ with these spawning locations for sure. So there's a lot of different things that you can do on this map. In terms of being aggressive. We saw the Hydra attack earlier in the ZVP matchup. ZVT, though, at these spawning locations, you're really starting to stretch it a little bit if you're going to commit to that.
Yeah, and every time I look at Light's command center and it's still flashing, making workers, I get a little bit hopeful that maybe he's not going for BBS. Got a chance to watch that build in action in ASL last week, or earlier on this week, actually, so probably not going to be going for one
That's
of
the
those.
depot, so not going to happen. Not on this 4-player map. Guaranteed, if it were almost any other map in this pool, he would have considered it.
Now, I love the drone scout here. A lot of times you won't see Zerg players do that, but you do have to make sure that your opponent is not getting up to anything fishy when you play against Light.
Yeah, especially Light with how he's been playing so far this tournament. You just have to remember that every game has been greedy, and even if he gets the scout of his CC first, that's insanely valuable too. This is the most unfortunate thing this drone is going to see, but at least it's going to give Effort peace of mind. He's going to be like, okay, I probably could have just gotten away with doing literally nothing at all. He's going to play like almost every other Terran player would. We'll actually be able to harass the barracks, so that's the small advantage you get from this. The drone will regen hit points, so as long as he doesn't miss control, this is going to continue to be a nuisance.
Okay, expansion coming down here as a 12 pool build for Effort. Now, against Rain last week, we saw Effort go for three base before a hatch. Probably can't get away with that here. For all you Terran players out there, if you see Zergs going for 3 hatch before pool, you rally every building you have to their base and kill them. That is generally not something that we see very commonly, but now here's the in-base hatch. So it's going to be interesting to see what build he goes for here. You and I were talking earlier about how effective Hydra busts are. Already saw one successful one, well, mildly successful. So
well, it didn't kill him, but it definitely crippled. It was a crippling one for sure.
And just kept him back on 2 bases.
Yeah.
So.
We'll see what Effort has planned. Obviously, only time will tell. But Bio is also going to take a long time to push across the map and harass. The third base location for Effort, when he does decide to take it, will likely be the top left or bottom right locations. The main base is there, where he can hold the choke point with lurkers. Well, there's no ramp up there, so it's a little bit tougher than on other maps. You know, you have to hold this ramp, basically, to do it.
I mean, every time you have low ground mains, you want to expand as quickly as possible, because if you get sieged in your low ground main, well, there's just no way to break out unless you can find like maybe a drop play, or I don't know. I was going to say Nidus, but that only works on maps that have native creep on it. There are a few of those. I forget exactly what they are, but a lot of times map builders would put creep on the map so that you wouldn't be able to build in different places. Yeah. Later on, they just decided to make tiles unbuildable because Zergs could go for crazy Nidus plays like that.
Yeah, there's funny things like that. Like in StarCraft 2, some islands would have creep spread on them, so the tumor would actually force someone to react to that, kill it. But we're going to see this barracks lift off as the first Marine pressure is going to come out. It's a very quick layer coming out here for Effort, so it does not look like we're going to be seeing any Hydra bust.
Oh, wow. Good control there on the SCV. Light will get in here and he will scout the extra macro hatch, which shouldn't be too surprising. But if he gets in there and sees the early layer, that will really tip him off to Effort's build.
Well, he will see it, so very important. Starts an eBay right away, just for some additional safety. See how many turrets he actually commits to. Wants to save the SCV. Ooh. Not going to happen, but he's trying. Can't blame a pro gamer for trying. All right, so Overlord here also scouts the wall up, and also saw the Marine move out earlier. Oh!
Okay, finally we'll go down there.
Sad SCV.
Indeed he is. Well, he's not sad now. He's, dust in the wind, Wolf.
We've identified which Zergling got the kill, too. Thank you, Observer.
That's when your observer is just like really doing the utmost. He's like, no, I have to show people exactly which Zergling gets the credit. I'm like, okay, good Zergling. And now back to the game. So it is Hydra's on the way, not going to be going for Mutas just yet. And still have yet to really see what the push or what the effort is going to be for Light. Probably should have phrased that slightly differently. But looks like it's just going to be that standard mass bio early on and then possibly a transition into mech later.
Well, you can start making medics now. The Academy is getting Marine range. You will have a very fast +1. He got that eBay up super early, which will... We talked about how it could be useful defensively, but it's really mostly this early to give him the extra +1. So we're going to see Hydra start to pop out. He does have that extra macro hatch that you described, but we'll see how many he commits to first. He's actually using this Zergling scouting force right now to push all the scouting information away from Light right now.
Right.
Like, he's making sure no SCV is going to come scout this, which leads me to believe this is going to be pretty aggressive what we see here, because he just wants to deny all information right now.
Yeah, anytime you see this big fan of Zerglings, that is a don't scout me kind of effort right there. And he's also going to like soft contain here at the front just to make sure that he knows exactly what's going on. And this is going to be kind of interesting. You're seeing this look on the players' faces because here we go. All right, so we've got the build. It's going to be a 4 to 5, I think that is 5 racks.
Yeah, 5 racks.
So 5 racks with a +1 stim timing. This is going to be very, very difficult for our Zerg player to hold. This map is kind of reminiscent of maps like Fighting Spirit. Very, very popular to see this kind of build here. And here we go, pushing out.
So he's actually not going to commit to the aggression. He's going to rush out the lurkers because he wants to have the defense against this attack. And we didn't have a shot of what was how many Hydras were popping out, but this is every Hydra he's made, basically, I think, except the one that he couldn't afford making into lurkers. He's going to get mass lurkers. And hold on, now the third base is going to go up to the top left. And here we go, just Lings to slow down the push. Doesn't even lose a single one here. Good reaction time.
Yep, good control there by Effort. He should also try to flank this force and stop individual Marines from coming in for reinforcements. Looks like that SCV will just be for the scouting force. The Marines stimming up to make sure to keep it and everything else alive. The question is, does Light know or think to look for this third base and shut it down?
Well, I think that's what he was trying to do with the SE, but he got caught. Now here come these lurkers with the flank. Oh, this is disastrous. He has nowhere to run.
Great positioning up against the wall. There is one fire bat reposition on the lurker, and every single Marine is going to die.
Look at the pullback of the Zerglings as well. He was just like, no, I'm not going to lose anything here. I'm just going to burrow this.
God.
Didn't even see a scan because he didn't have any opportunities. Immediately texts to Hive. He's like, oh, this game is mine to take now.
And immediately
he killed the entire army.
All the Marines are just like, nope, back in the bunker, boys. And this is going to be very, very necessary. Just trying to position these lurkers barely outside the range because they can hit that bunker. And I don't think there's any detection beyond just a couple of scans here left for Light. Effort with insane control.
And because he shut this down so hard, there's no science vessel tech. Like, the factory is just now finishing. So detection is, as you said, just in the ComSat scanners. So this is such a frustrating position. It's not an all-in by Light, but it's a timing push that's designed to gain pressure because it was just instantly killed. I mean, it was like it never happened. He's now just light years behind in tech. And this is a big problem, is he just constantly now harassed at the front of the base. By these units, he can't break out. He's going to have to be defensive, which means his third base energy failed to scout is going to get so much value. And the SV scout the bottom right, which there wasn't any base there, so that might even mislead him. I hope, for his sake, not.
Okay, well, the SCV for Light will at least scout this third base. So if he does bust out, then that's probably where you want to go. However, by that time, especially with this Hive completed, you're going to see Defiler tech for Dark Swarms on the ramp. You're also going to be seeing a Nidus network come out, which should make that third easy for Effort to defend.
So now he's in the control tower, needs to get his science facility, all these things he needs before he can even hope to fight this army. As his hatch is just gleefully mining.
Is that what hatcheries do?
Well, I guess gleefully accepting minerals as the drones mine happily.
It's got a little smiley face on there. That's how you can tell it's a happy hatchery. It's like the Tamagotchi hatchery. You have to like keep feeding it periodically so it doesn't get sad. Then it stops accepting minerals.
Yeah.
It mines more minerals when it's happier. You gotta play with it. Did you ever have a Tamagotchi, Wolf?
Yeah, I did, actually.
Those things were dope.
That was the dopest thing I played with in the car ride on family trips.
Actually, I have a sick nostalgia trip. I'm gonna have to go buy one of those on eBay or something. But here we go. All right, big Ling flood across the map, and I don't even think Effort is just going to settle for containing Light on two bases. I think especially if he does pop out a bunch of mutas here, or even if it's just for Scourge, this is going to be a big... okay, is he going to push here? He's kind of indecisive.
Well, I feel like that was pretty good for Light, but he actually does bait him into a few more lurkers. Don't forget the Scourge are looking for the science vessels. Once one pops out, he's just going to go in and snipe it immediately. So those Scourge that are at the top of the mineral line, there they are. They are dangerous. If he actually comes in at the perfect angle and snipes that, then the lurkers basically can't be killed. He baited out a lot of scans, but this seems to be unscouted. Oh, never mind.
No, there we go. Scourge right on point. Now, if there are Marines in that, then you do want to drop them and have them kill off this Scourge.
Yeah, like right now.
Whoa, big push in here, or at least try to attempt to push out Light, trying to escape, but will not save his dropship, but will deal with the pressure at his front.
Pretty cost-inefficient breakout, though. He definitely lost a lot of Marines there, but now that he's out, he is going to go for that push to the top left, but the Nidus has long been ready, and because the drop was killed, there's no way to get in here besides the ramp. No lurker on said ramp.
Yeah, that's a little bit interesting to see no lurker on that
I mean,
ramp.
Obviously it's the bottom of the ramp, but like...
Okay, there's the Dark Swarm right at the front, and this should be very difficult to break through.
Oh,
the Marines run right under the Dark Swarm. Like, no, you can't shoot them at melee range. Your guns just don't work.
Yeah. Well, he is going to eventually, once that fades away, be able to kill this, but it's buying more time for more units to come out. Your second one comes down, though. And this is just so frustrating. He's trying to run by, actually, but he was losing so much.
Oh, yeah, and he's not even going to be in a great spot there. As units spread around, a lot of the strength of the bio ball comes when it is in a ball. And as soon as you spread out, everything is going to die here. Effort just effortlessly cleaning this up.
This is just very much an outclassing right now in this game. I mean, obviously it's really easy for this to happen with Effort getting that nice just smash of the 5 racks pressure for free. He lost like 2 Zerglings to kill the entire Terran army, to kill the entire Terran build.
And the Fibrax is deadly. Every Zerg loses to that once in a while, but okay, a little bit of a Plague. That's going to drain a lot of his medic energy.
He's just run by, run past here.
Oh, wow, that's actually a good move there by Light. He will get on top of this hatchery coming out, but even if that goes down, I mean, it's still just a moral victory.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's even going to go down either. There's so many reinforcements coming out. The defense matrix on the Firebat.
Matrix Firebat. Okay, man. That's an important unit, but it will die eventually.
Did get a few kills, but I mean, this is just disastrous.
He even scourges the science vessel.
Now he's just basically feeding units into the army of effort because he just can't get a muster up a strong enough force to actually break through this. You can tell on his face, too, to the top left, he knows this is a frustrating situation. He is massing up the Firebat to try to break through these Dark Swarms, which is actually working fairly well for him this time.
Yeah, Firebats do continue to deal splash damage underneath Dark Swarms, so they can run through there.
Not enough of them, though.
But they still die to things like Lurkers, double Defilers underneath that. There's just no way for a Terran player to break that ramp.
Vulture's coming out here even, trying to do what he can to win this fight off 2 bases, but this is going to be another dead vessel. And I like this idea to expand over here.
That is a little bit cute.
Looks like those Lings were playing Snake on the minimap, but...
He's also going to try to expand here to his mineral-only base, and this should be something that Effort will kind of feel out. But I feel like he is just so proactively playing his game and saying, hey, Light, it's up to you to try to stop me.
Well, see, he's going to try to use Spire Mines now to force this through with Firebats. Looks like Effort is not fully set up to defend this, actually, but more Lings coming out now. Just needs to clear up those Firebats and clear the Marines. As they're under Dark Swarm, they can't do anything.
Why are Marines under Dark Swarm? I don't understand this. Continuing to rally up little tiny forces to soft contain this, but I mean, I really hope for Light's sake that this hidden base works wonders for him, because nothing has really worked out for him so far this game.
Well, medics are hard to kill. Eventually he's going to get this down.
That's just so comical. I think Carbot made an animation of just a medic healing a medic and it never dying.
Well, I mean, it's actually kind of a thing you can use it to wall a ramp, for example, and nothing is getting in there. You put 2 medics on a ramp, 1,000 certainly is not getting inside there. So it buys some time there at the base, but eventually he does get taken out. Now he's trying to try to counterattack here. This could be effective. Again, it's mostly Firebat, but I'm not too optimistic about this attack.
This Terran army is made out of cottage cheese, guys. There's just basically no substance to it. It is pitifully tiny and small, and actually at risk of... Okay, no. Good irradiate on the Defiler. I was like, if that Defiler just runs forward and gets a Plague off, then that would actually just devastate Light. So he pulls back, he gets the irradiate off, and I'm still kind of trying to figure out what exactly is Light's plan.
He's trying to transition into mech, right? That's why he's starting to add these Vultures in. He's adding additional factories, and he does have these bases, which is just now scouted. But
that Scourge has a sick troll face on right now. Just find your base.
But the thing is, I feel like it's going to be a tough transition now that this is scouted by Effort. Now he knows the bases are up. He's going to start being less defensive, more aggressive.
Oh, double macro hatch up there at the third base. So right now, Effort has infinity money, and I feel like that's not something that you can actively see out on the map, but eventually he is going to build 2 control groups of Mutalisks and just run around and kill that base down there. It's going to be really difficult to defend, and if he doesn't go for that Mutatech, which I've seen him transition into, I think, 3 of his last 5 games, so if he doesn't, then he'll just be able to defend this ramp forever.
Well, he is going to get these irradiates off on the Lurkers, so that's very annoying. They're going to die pretty quick. This is the most vulnerable part of a Terran in the mid to late game, is the transition to mech. That's the weak point. Once he actually gets it, late game Terran is incredibly difficult to deal with. You ask any pro gamer, currently in Brewer, they'll tell you it's broken for Terran. So if he can survive long enough to get there, it's definitely got good chances. Decent Plague here, actually, even on the Science Vessel. And again, Firebats actually lead the charge.
There's Lurkers under Dark Swarm. You can't break that.
Can't kill that. Without Irradiate, you have to just slowly irradiate your way through.
Yeah.
Which is why the switch to Siege Tanks is amazing, because you use the Siege Tanks to break it, because they'll do the splash damage under the Swarm.
Right.
That the Marines can't do.
The secret to that build, Wolf, is that you have to have the Siege Tanks to break through that. Right now, I mean, Light is just struggling to get everything out. To be fair, he has gotten an amazing number of bases after having his early Bioforce crushed. But, it's not always about your ability to get out there and get bases. You have to be able to hold on to them. And here comes Effort trying to shut this down. Oh my god.
It's like a mine drag there, I believe.
I guess. Everything just exploded, so usually what's doing that is mines, but even still, just scattered bioforces in the middle of the map. Okay, Dark Swarm instead of Plague. Always like that decision.
Okay, well, in this case, I would have liked the Plague just simply because the Terran Army this time is going to move out of the way.
You just want to yell Plague-oo, Wolf. We all know what your favorite Zerg pizza topping is.
That's right.
Pasta topping, I guess. Either way, nice Plague does go down there. I guess we didn't catch that quite on camera. Scumbag observer robbing us of that opportunity. But still, now effort. I'm starting to, hold on to my seat here a little bit, Wolf. Cause
I mean, he's bleeding units off quite a bit. Effort is, and this Terran Army, despite being plagued and Darkstormed repeatedly, he's been given the time now finally to get out the mech. And you can see how just cost-efficient vultures are in terms of killing Zerglings. This Firebat army is actually going to win under the Dark Swarm. Effort actually takes his hand off the keyboard for a minute. I think he's starting to feel the pressure. This game was almost already won when he stopped that 5-Rax timing attack, and now he's just like struggling to hold on because he can't take any of the additional bases. He can't find any damage right now. Okay, he's got the Ultra Tech out.
Yeah, he decided to tech to Ultras. I would have actually just loved to see 2 control groups of Mutalisks because Bio's really good against them, but what Light has done here is he's almost overproduced a ton of Firebats. You show up with 2 control groups of Mutalisks, and this entire army dies.
Also, these siege tanks here, that Effort is not scouted, just like right-click on the Ultras and kill them.
Light has no anti-air.
Yeah, I mean, he also has no turrets in the main base or his satellite bases. He could have done a lot with the Mutalisks, but obviously he can't see what we can see. He's still going to find this counterattack down near the bottom right anyway. It's going to force a lift. Okay, so this is still good, but I feel like it could have been decimating, as you said.
Okay, so Effort having taken out not one but both of these lower bases, this is really, really good. And he'll even get a sizable number of those SCVs. Oh, gets a sick Plague on all the SCVs. The lurkers! Oh my God!
How many
humanity!
Kills? Unlucky 13.
Oh my God.
Damn.
All right, so all is as it should be, Wolf. Terran base is shut down by an overproduced, or that's not overproducing. He's just producing a lot of stuff. And he's continuing to get new bases up that are unharassed. Plague Zerglings, man.
So now he's going to use Overlords to drop on top of the mech. That's the idea, because Siege Tanks will crush it alone. That's why these... it's no coincidence these Ultras and Overlords are all moving to the same place. So he's going to actually drop on top of these Siege Tanks.
Wow, look at those Zerg upgrades. 3-2 for his ground units. And that doesn't count the chitinous plating that's on the Ultralist. Now,
here we go. This is going to be one of the engages. Wants to set up this attack first, wants to bait out some of the mines. Looks like he's just going to hard engage now with the Ultras here, trying to drag. Okay, here comes the drop. He's actually not going to drop on the tanks, rather just going to drop into the natural itself.
And where's the drop? He's losing Overlords.
Is this a fake? I don't think so.
No,
okay, there they come.
So he did actually drop a few Zerglings in there. And in the end, it is Effort that will take our final game of the night, taking out Light and eliminating him from advancing to the playoffs.
So, I mean, he just was so massively ahead. I was worried for him for a minute when the base was just unassaulted for so long. I was like, are you ever going to hit that? Because it's so undefended. Just wanted to wait for better upgrades and then a little bit of extra safety to get the Ultras out and then just crush the army in the middle of the map one time and dropped into the natural. The game was over. And Light just, his whole entire build, the whole strategy was just, it was like it didn't happen. Imagine going DTs and Pros versus Pros and then just, you committed to 4 DTs, say it in StarCraft 2, right? StarCraft 2 terms, and then like all your DTs are just blown up on the shuttle, and you're like, oh, it's like my entire build was based on this, and now it's just completely dead. And he just did a normal build, and he's pretty ahead. And now what do I do? Yeah. And I like the idea of the Firebats. They were working out decently for him, but it's just Firebats aren't very good in general. Like they can help you win under the Dark Swarm, but then what happens after that?
Yep, and I see a lot of people talking about, especially when Fighting Spirit was in the map pool, about how strong the 5-Rax +1 stim timing is for Terran on these big maps. But anytime I see pro players say, okay, well, this build is good, has a high win rate, I'm just like, okay, but you have to do it. And with players as good as Effort is, he was completely able to crush that, was inevitably able to shut down Light's mining bases and take that game. And here are the results after our 5 rounds of play, 6 rounds of play, rather. It's a 5-1 score for Effort, who now takes sole possession of first place with Mind dropping his game today. I think the real stories here are Effort continuing to dominate and even Hero taking a very impressive win today.
Yeah, Rain dropping down to, Rain's in the likes of now Light and Hero. Sock took a loss today just by def loss, so I feel like that's not really fair to put him in this, loop him in those, but like both Light and Hero have been really struggling this tournament, and even when the games they've won haven't looked very good, and Rain's now with them, so that's painful. Effort has secured his spot in the playoffs with this win as well, I'm told. So I believe that is the case. So that's really huge for him. He could potentially be going to the finals. It's been a long time. He's in pole position for it in first place. Mind struggling to defend that recall as well. I know that's what all the TL live report people were talking about. Just that one recall lost him the game. He was so massively ahead. So these are our standings. We have one more week of regular play here before we jump into playoffs. As already announced, the Classic and Premier playoffs will be the same days. So we're going to actually have days of elimination for StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1 at the same time.
Yeah, we should reiterate that, guys. Coming up when we do enter playoffs for both SSL Premier, StarCraft 2 League, and SSL Classic, this Brood War tournament, we're going to be broadcasting both of those on the same day. So the schedule is going to be getting a little bit wacky. So to let you know what's coming up, here we go.
All right, so don't forget there's no... So our next match is, of course, Light Hero, Rain, Sock, Sulky, Free, Mind, and Effort, but there's no Premier next week because that was our day scheduled for potential tiebreakers, and since there are no tiebreakers, the only matches here in the SSL studio will be the Classic matches here on Thursday. So check that out. We're going to be moving directly to playoffs after that in terms of Premier. You can get your tickets on ticketleague.co.kr if you're here in Korea, especially for that week, you might be able to show up and grab tickets, but I would say for playoffs, you probably want to book ahead.
Yeah, playoffs should be pretty packed here, especially since there's tons of StarCraft action going on all on the same day. A lot of fans will just be coming down here for both of those. But yeah, a great way to wind things down, to end things off. Still a lot of very meaningful matches to be played next week in SSL Classic.
That's right. So, super important match for Mind versus Effort. He has the playoff qualification match for sure if he wins that one, but he's up against Effort, so that's tough. Here are the challenge matches that will be happening on Saturday. You'll be casting with Valdez.
I will. Brandon and I will be here. Deer versus Ryung. Byun versus TY, which should be an absolutely incredible TBT. And then Classic versus Hero. There's going to be a lot of carriers made in that match.
Pretty likely.
A lot of carriers.
Pretty likely.
It's a good thing they're not like disease carriers. That's only after they get plagued. Yeah. Gotta make a good old avian, I don't know what I'm supposed to call that. Is there an acronym for that? I just forgot. Either way. Okay, that's going to bring us to the end of today's broadcast. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This is, like I said, our next to last Brood War broadcast before we hit the playoffs. So it's been a really good season.
Yeah, it really has. There's a lot more coming up. Not only do we have that extra regular day, but we have 3 days of playoffs, including the finals. That's going to do it for us for this evening, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to watch on this channel the challenge matches on Saturday. See you then.